Hello everyone, my name is Rosa Cisneros and I will be reading a book by Richard O'Neill, illustrated by Kirsti Beautyman. I chose this book because June is Gypsy Roma Traveler History Month, and I thought it would be a lovely way to celebrate the community. And so I spoke with Richard and I asked him if I could read this book, and he said absolutely. So it's a family favorite. We really enjoy this book. We love the different words. There are different words that are used by the community, by some community members. And yes, so here I will begin. The Lost Homework by author Richard O'Neill, illustrated by Kirsti Beautyman. You'll have to forgive me because I'm going to read to you the way I would read to my 4-year-old and 5-month-old. So, yes, so we start seeing some community representation and images here, and I just love it. And this is a corner in my house where we do some reading, so I thought I'd pick this one. This is why I'm crouched down. So here we go. Sunny lived on a traveler site with his parents, cousins, and other neighbors. The site was a Kushti Achintan, a real community, and there was always something going on. Sunny loved school. He liked to do his homework on Friday so that he could enjoy the weekend without having to think about it. This particular Friday, he was busier than usual as the family was going to a cousin's wedding the following day. The cart had to be cleaned, ready to transport the newlyweds. Shoes needed to be polished and clothes had to be put out ready for the morning. They had to call the farrier because Lolo, the driving gear, had thrown a shoe. The farrier heated up the metal shoes until they were glowing red, orange, and then white. "Why do they have to be so hot?" Sunny asked. "To create what's called thermal expansion," she explained. "The metal's structure changes when it reaches 1,300 degrees Celsius, so I can adjust the shape of the shoes to fit the horse's hooves." Later that evening, Sunny got out the road map to plan the journey. He liked being able to picture where they were going. Besides, the last time they'd used the sat-nav, it had taken them the wrong way. "We'll have the horse box and the trailer, so remember to avoid the motorway," said Dad. Sunny wrote down the route and used the scale to calculate the distance. "So," said Dad, "if the wedding is 180 kilometers away and we drive at 80 kilometers per hour, it will take us at least 2 hours and 15 minutes, calculated Sunny. Early next morning, they set off wearing their best clothes. Uncle George and Auntie Pearl led the way, with Sunny reading the map. The rest of the family followed behind. When they arrived, Lolo was harnessed to the cart to take Betty Lee to the church. After the service, the newlyweds traveled to the reception together. Mom and Dad chatted with family and old friends. "Oh, look, there's great Aunt Regina," said Sunny, rushing over to say hello. After the meal and the speeches, there was music and dancing. Sunny hovered by the stage, holding his harmonica. He wasn't much of a dancer, but loved playing music. "Up you come, Bitty Moosh," said the singer. "The more Kushti musicians, the merrier." Later, the storyteller took to the stage. After sharing a few tales, he asked if anyone else wanted a turn. Sunny was a little nervous, but worked up the courage to perform his latest story. The crowd laughed and clapped. "That was a great story," the storyteller said. "Where did you learn it?" "I wrote it at school," Sunny replied. The storyteller smiled and nodded. "Well done." As Sunny and his family got ready to head home, They could hear the storyteller and some of the older people still telling tales. Before church on Sunday, Sunny took the younger children to the park. "Let's see who can do the fastest circuit," Crystal laughed. "Jalan." "We're not supposed to get our Sunday clothes dirty," said Sunny. After church, Sunny stopped in at one of the bungalows near the site. "I'm glad you're here, Sunny," said Mrs. Stevens. "I want to email my grandson. I'm sure you can show me how." "Of course," replied Sunny. "Goodness, when I was your age, we had to find a pen, write a letter, and post it, then wait days for a reply," laughed Mrs. Stevens. "Life might have been a lot easier with one of these," Sunny smiled. Sunny loved cooking, so when he got home, he rushed to help his mom with the Sunday dinner. She said he made the best Yorkshire puddings in the world. All of a sudden, he remembered that he still hadn't done his homework, but his book wasn't in his school bag. It wasn't in his bedroom either. He even looked in the truck, but it was nowhere to be seen. Panicking, Sunny ran back to the utility block. "I can't find my homework book," he cried. "Can you help me look for it?" "I'm putting out the food, Sunny," said Mom. "I'll help you look for it later. Don't worry, there's plenty of time." After lunch, Sunny had offered to help his local community group. Grandma had given them her old Vardo, and they were restoring it. "We need to finish the painting today," announced Shirley, the leader. "Look at these old pictures I found," said Sunny. "Wow, look at the details," said Gary. "Whoever painted that caravan was very talented." On his way back to the site, Sunny remembered his homework again. "Can you help me find my homework book, Aunt Pearl?" Sunny asked. "Oh, Sunny, I've got all these pennies to finish for market tomorrow," she said. "If you can help me, I might have time to look." The sewing was fiddly and he needed a lot of patience. Luckily, Aunt Pearl was a good teacher. By the time they had finished, there was only an hour before bed. Everyone helped Sunny look for his homework book, but it was nowhere to be found. "What am I going to do? I always do my homework. I can't go to school without it," Sunny sighed. "Don't be upset," said Mom. "You'll just have to explain how busy we've been. Let's make sure Mrs. Harmston knows that we all care about your school work," she added. "I'll write a note for you as well." On Monday, Sunny nervously gave his teacher the note. "I'm really sorry, miss. I didn't even notice I'd lost my homework book until Sunday lunchtime. We looked everywhere. We really did." He felt like he was letting his family down. "I believe you, Sunny, but it's odd you didn't realize it was lost until then," she said, smiling. "It must have been a very busy weekend." "It was, miss," Sunny replied, relieved. Once they were all inside, Sunny told the whole class about his busy weekend using his best storyteller style. "Well, Sunny," said Mrs. Harmston, "you may not have done the homework I set, but you've done plenty of maths and English. In fact, you've covered every other subject too." She looked at the rest of the class. "Who knows how?" "He did science with the farrier," said Ellie. "He did geography and maths when he planned the journey," said Anaya. "He did music and English at the wedding," said Bradley. "He did food tech cooking lunch," said Mohammed, "and design and technology with Aunt Pearl." "He did PE at the park," said Elisa. "He did IT and history with Mrs. Stevens," said Kavita. "And art with the community project," added Shanice. Sunny's mouth fell open in shock. That evening, Sonny showed his family a note from Mrs. Harmston. Who would have thought all this homework stuff would have been school stuff too? Dad laughed. The end. And in our house, we always say, El fin.